we're really worried about what's happening with the cost of living. You've got energy bills rocketing, you've got prices going up in the shops, you've got the Bank of England saying this is going to be the biggest squeeze on incomes for 30 years, a 2% fall in real incomes, and actually pensioners are going to be worse off as well, because what's happening today in the House of Commons, Boris Johnson is asking MPs to endorse a plan to give pensioners a real terms cut in the value of their pension, because the pension isn't going up in line with these high inflation rates. It means a pensioner is going to lose around £222 in real terms, or a couple is going to lose £355. So any help that they may have been getting on energy bills completely wiped out by these real terms cuts in the pension for pensioners.
You can vote against this in the House today, yeah?
Well, the problem is, if you voted it down, pensioners wouldn't get anything. At the moment, they're getting what Boris Johnson is proposing is 3%, but 3% is a cut when inflation is running over 6% across the year. So if you voted it down, pensioners wouldn't get anything, which would be really, really unfair. But the reason this is happening is because government incompetence, really. They've pegged the rise to what inflation was back in September. But actually now, inflation is heading to 6%, could be at 7%. And that overall means not just pensioners are going to be really hard hit, it means everyone's going to be hard hit. So, for example, a working person on average earnings of around £30,000, because of the big tax rises that are coming, the 10% increase in national insurance and inflation, so wages will stagnate, they're going to be worse off to the tune of £400. This is a real crisis, and I'm afraid the government don't have a plan because they're just mired in all these scandals about parties and all the rest of it, rather than focusing on working people, families and pensioners.
It's interesting, though, that you will then have to vote for it today. I just want to give you a chance to respond to the government, who say they do have a plan for all of this. They say we're providing support worth £12 billion this financial year, which will help the cost of living. An extra £9 billion has been announced to protect against the impact of rising global energy prices. Combined with last year's 2.5% increase to pensions, we have ensured pensioners' incomes have been protected.
Look, you've got stories of pensioners faced with impossible choices between heating and eating. You've got stories of pensioners not going for showers, not using the oven and eating a sandwich instead because they're trying to save on their heating bills. And I'm afraid what was announced last week by the Chancellor just doesn't go far enough. For a start, there's 1 million or so pensioners who might not get any help because they'd have to apply for it themselves. And given that only around 65% of pensioners apply for the pension credit, that leaves around £1.8 billion worth of going unclaimed. I'm not convinced the government's got a plan to get the extra £150 to every single pensioner. Secondly,
Jonathan, what can you do about this? You can't vote it down, you say. You can come on shows like ours and you can object to this and you can point out by how much worse off pensioners will be this year. But really, like everything else, this tsunami of price increases is coming our way, their way, everybody's way, and there doesn't seem to be a lot we can do about it.
Well, we've put forward a plan. We'd take VAT off the fuel bills for a start, and then we would extend something called the Warm Homes discount, and by doing that, would give everybody, or the poorest and those in middle incomes, millions of people would get £600 off their energy bills. So we've got an alternative plan to the one in which the government have got. So, and the government can still take up our plan. So we're putting it forward. We're asking them to consider this. Look, pensioners have given so much to our country. I don't think it's fair that pensioners are impoverished. And that's basically what Boris Johnson is going to do today.